Good morning. My name is Stephen Todd, and it's my pleasure to welcome you to today's service. We welcome all at the Unitarian Universalist Church of Boulder. All of you are welcome, and all of you are sacred. Whatever this present moment is right now for you, whatever your past has been like, we invite you to journey with us right now into the future together. A special welcome to everyone who is joining us online as we stream this service live on YouTube. We are delighted you are here. This congregation is all of us, in person and online. If here today you are a newish visitor, then by all means, please join us for refreshments after the service. We'd like to get to know you better. If you are a new online visitor, you'll find a link to our visitor form in the video description, or just send an email to officeuucb@gmail.com and let us know how you found us. I have two announcements this morning. On Saturday, May 14th, 9 a.m. to 1, please join us for UUCB's Spring All-Church Work Day for any or all of that time. Bring your work gloves, garden tools, hat, a water bottle, a smile. It's a great opportunity to connect, to make the church more beautiful, and it gets your hands dirty, which we'll say more about in a little while. Now let our service begin with these prayerful words from Joe Pure. Mother Earth, Father Son, Spirit of the universe, remind us daily of the sanctity of life. Touch our hearts with the glorious oneness of all creation as we strive to respect all the living beings on this planet. Penetrate our souls with the beauty of this earth. Awaken our minds with the knowledge to achieve a world in harmony. And grant us the wisdom to realize that we can have a heaven on this earth. And now, please join us in singing our opening hymn, which is Common Ground, composed by the Paul Winter Consort and arranged by Jim Scott, who wrote these words, which we invite you to sing along on. In a circle of friends, in a circle of sound, all our voices will blend when we touch common ground. And don't start till I get over there.
That's right. are calling round the earth. Music is rising in the sea. The spirit of morning fills the air, guiding my journey home. Here is the path beyond the forest. Here is the song I always knew. I remember it just around the bend. In the music, the village never ends. In a circle of friends, in a circle of sound, all our voices will blend when we touch common ground. Somewhere is the melody we need. There is a certain harmony, even a rhythm in the trees, in the song that we've always known. As every road comes to its end, so every path must cross again. Now I'm returning to my heart, back to the song that is our own. In a circle of friends, in a circle of sound, all our voices will blend when we touch common ground. In a circle of friends, in a circle of sound, all our voices will blend when we touch common ground. In a circle of friends, in a circle of sound, all our voices will blend when we touch common. One more time. In a circle of friends, in a circle of sound, all our voices will blend when we touch common ground.
We come to the chalice lighting. If you are joining us online and have a candle or a chalice near your computer, please get ready to light it. And we invite you to type into the chat box where your chalice is lit, the street or the neighborhood or what city if you are joining us from outside of Boulder County. And my pages are thoroughly out of order. So let me introduce to you our chalice lighters for this morning. We have Brynja Helgadottir, and we have Zadie Feehan, who unfortunately came down with a sore throat yesterday and is joining us via Zoom.
what do you love about nature?
I love flowers. I love the colors and I love drawing them. I love all the varieties. How about you?
I love big boulders because I love climbing. I like how you have to find your own way up the wall instead of taking a predetermined path. What else do you love?
I love the rain. It's so peaceful and I love playing soccer in the rain because it has the feel of adventure. And you? What else?
I love thunderstorms and lightning, the way the storm turns the sidewalk all one color. I love lightning across a dark sky.
All of these elements give us life and can also be horribly destructive too when they are out of control. I am glad it is cloudy and cool today since it's probably not a high fire day. But I have to be honest, I'm worried about our future. Are you?
Yes. Do people need more evidence that climate change is real? Every few months we learn from EcoCycle that we need to do what we need to do to save our planet. We study this in school, but many people are waiting for others to fix it. We can't just leave it up to the activists to fix it. We all have to fix it together. We have recycling bins at school, but everyone is in such a rush at lunch, they don't have time to sort their trays, so it all goes in the trash anyhow. We know what to do, but we don't do it. I think people in detention should sort the trash.
We need to plant more flowers and plants to help the air and put carbon dioxide in the ground. We know we shouldn't pollute the water, but it still happens with oil spills and plastic waste. But things are changing. Maybe not fast enough, but they are changing. More and more people are buying electric cars, and we are cutting down on coal and nuclear power.
In Iceland, they have even figured out a way to capture methane from cows.
I am grateful for Earth Day to help everyone remember that we all need to do our part.
Yes, me too. We can do better. It is time that we all work together to help each other do what we know needs to be done. I'm going to talk to my teachers about getting serious with recycling.
You're right, Brynja. I'm going to go plant flowers. And I'm going to ask Reverend Dana if we can stop using plastic water bottles to drink from. The answer is easy, but we need to figure it out and make it happen.
I agree, Zadie. Let's light this chalice with fire that keeps us warm and cooks our food and is part of nature.
Yes, we light this chalice with fire, an element to be respected and kept in balance, just like every part of our entire planet Earth.
We light this chalice with the flame of hope that together we will save our planet.
Thank you, Zadie.
We now invite all those gathered in your various locations to join together in fellowship and community as we say aloud our congregation's covenant. We gather in fellowship to speak truth to each other, to reach out and touch one another, to care with each other, and to seek the truth divine. So be it. And now Reverend Dana is going to introduce you to our Stories for All Ages moment.
Just check and see if you're all the way there.
Always have to have something, right? So a few weeks ago, as we were thinking about celebrating Earth Day, I asked all of our families to make me a short little video to answer these questions, or to say these things. Today we give thanks for some aspect of the earth, of nature that you love. So fill in that blank in your mind right now, even if it's a long list. We love this because Please join us in giving thanks for. We will work to protect by. May we join together in gratitude and in our pledge. So as we watch our video that we made, I invite you all to join in the pledges that are made in the video to save our planet. Thank you.
Today we give thanks for
What? Earth.
Earth. We love. What do you love?
Plants.
Plants because.
They're yummy.
What type of plants are yummy?
Edible flowers.
And
Strawberries.
strawberries, yeah. Please join us in giving thanks for the work we do to protect
Nature.
May we all join together in gratitude and in this pledge. Bye.
Bye.
Bye, 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 bye.
Okay, go ahead.
My name is Kyler. Today I give thanks for the earth. Today, I love the earth because it's our home.
Go ahead.
Please join us in gratitude and thanks for the earth. We will work together to protect the earth by making sure people don't throw trash. May we all join together in gratitude and in our pledge.
My name is Ruby Wingert. Today we give thanks for the animal life. We love the animal life because it's part of the interconnected web of existence and we're a part of it too. Please join us in giving thanks for animal life. We will work to protect animal life by protecting their habitats, using less paper, not cutting down trees, and decarbonization. May we all join together in gratitude and in our pledge.
Hi, my name's Todd. Today we give thanks to flowers
And why do you love flowers?
because they smell good.
Yeah, and we're going to give thanks for flowers. What can we do to protect flowers?
To give them water.
Yeah, give them water.
My name is Josephine Mary Vernon. Today I give thanks for birds. I love birds because they sing. Please join me in giving thanks for birds. I will protect birds by planting trees. May we join in our gratitude and in our pledge.
This is Marie Wingert. Today we give thanks for trees. We love trees because they're strong and so beautiful. Please join us in giving thanks for the trees. We will work to protect trees by watering them and picking up trash. May we all join together in gratitude and our pledge.
Today I'm names for fires.
My name is Kayleen.
My name is Kayleen.
Today,
I'm thankful for fire.
okay, go ahead.
I love fire because it helps us cook.
Please join us
Please join us
in giving thanks.
in giving thanks for fire.
Okay, go ahead. We will work to protect
We want to protect fire
by
by not playing with matches, and keeping our home safe.
May we all join together
May we all join together
in gratitude
in gratitude
and in our pledge.
and in our pledge.
We are Zadie, Dan, and Christy Feehan, and today we give thanks for snow.
We love snow because
It reminds us to feel awe.
it brings us peace and joy.
And it brings us together.
Please join us in giving thanks for snow.
We'll work to protect snow by
Riding bikes and riding the bus,
eating vegetarian and vegan meals,
And asking tough questions of our elected officials.
may we all join together in gratitude and in our pledge.
We have we got an echo is what we have. Should I just go ahead? We have a somewhat new take on our rituals today. Rituals help us to acknowledge and honor those things that are important to us. And we'll explain to you how we're going to be working this. Each time we gather for worship, we set aside a moment to expand the caring ministry of our congregation. Together we recognize the cycle of life and death, the circle of love, compassion, and witness that is at the center of this and every sacred community. On the table before us is rich soil from ancestral lands of the Ute and Arapaho peoples on which this church stands. The stones are smoothed by the waters of our rivers and streams. In a few moments, you'll have a chance to place one of these stones in the soil to represent a joy or a sorrow that you may be experiencing. Our online participants are invited to mention in the chat a joy or a concern that is on your heart. These will be viewable to all who are watching the service live on YouTube, but will not be part of the recorded service when that is posted. At the same time, to mark Earth Week, we offer a ritual of communion, gratitude, and mindfulness with one of our Mother Earth's most vital gifts, food. These lovely grapes down there have been nourished by sun, soil, and water, and picked by hard-working hands. They've also been carefully washed. All who wish to participate may form a line before the chancel here. Those who wish can place your stone, and all who come forward will receive one grape, which you will take back to your seat. Instructions to follow on the meditation. Don't eat it yet. Carry it as the gift that it is. So go ahead and form a line. And now please join us on a meditation on food. As you hold your grape, and for those of you who don't, just join in mentally. Please join in the spirit of meditation, mindfulness, and gratitude, hearing these words adapted from Thich Nhat Hanh's Mindful Eating Guide. You may begin by settling into your seat and allowing yourself to focus upon the grape that you hold in your hand. First, commit to the food, to just eating. To eat mindfully, we can put away our devices and carve out some time just to focus on our food. Even if that is only a few minutes, it will make a huge difference. Pause before you eat. Maybe become aware of your breathing for a breath or two. Then see what you notice in the food. The colors, shapes, any smells. Take a moment to really see what is in front of you. Look a bit deeper into the food in front of you. What journey brought it to you? What and who might have been involved? Can you see the sun and the rain in your food? Does any gratitude arise when you contemplate all that has come together for this food to be in front of you? In whatever way feels right to you, offer thanks for the food you will eat and to the living earth, creatures, and people who have brought it to you. And now you can eat the grape. When the food reaches your mouth, take in all the sensations there are to experience. The taste, the texture, the aroma, the feeling in your mouth. Closing your eyes might help you to focus. Think about how you usually eat. Chew your food a little bit longer than usual. It is usually our habit to be preparing the next mouthful while we are chewing our food. It's a great metaphor for our collective habit to run into the future while not fully experiencing what is happening right now. If you notice your mind has wandered, that's normal. Just gently guide it back to being aware of eating in the present moment. At your next meal, try really enjoying the mouthful before picking up the fork or spoon for the next one. And now you can ask yourself, where has the food gone after you have finished eating it? Our food will have literally become part of us, absorbed into our body, and it will continue into the future by providing energy for our actions. This is yet another way we can see interbeing in action. Be kind to yourself always. It won't always be possible to eat mindfully. Sometimes we will forget or get distracted. That is okay and a very common habit. See each moment that you are able to eat mindfully as a little victory and keep trying. And sometimes, like today, it's helpful to eat it mindfully in community. May it be so.
Tim, you could turn that one light back on, please. So our message today is brought by both Kenna and Mark Guttridge, and we are very pleased and happy to have you here.
Hello, everybody.
Well, Mark and Kenneth Guttridge were co-owners of Olin Farms out in Longmont. For the last 15 years, we've been growing vegetables for the community. I actually grew up on that farm property. My grandma bought that property back in the 70s, and I grew up doing 4-H projects there. And Ken and I had a chance to move back there when my grandma started to show signs of dementia and was living there by herself, so I knew how much the farm meant to her, and we wanted to be able to get back and take care of her on the land, and we were able to keep her there her last 2 years, and she passed right on the farm. And during that time, we didn't think we were going to become farmers, but we had my background's in environmental engineering and water resource engineering, and Ken is an accountant and a teacher by training. But just getting back to the farm, I wanted our kids to have some of the same experiences I had growing up there with animals and the garden. So we started planting, and I always say kind of the aha moment was when we started eating vegetables out of that garden and just being like, wow, how come this tastes so good, and how come it's so different than what's at the store? And the scientists in me really wanted to know what the heck was going on with our food. And so the more we looked into it, the more we realized about healthy soil and the connection between a healthy biology in the soil and a healthy plant and a healthy community, and how our food system in America had been going completely in the opposite directions for the last 5 decades. And how can we, as farmers, try to influence the health of our community? And so that's when we decided to start Olin Farms as a business. And Olin is actually an Aztec word meaning constant motion or constant change. We knew that no 2 days on the farm were ever going to be the same. And over the years, it's really come to encompass our philosophy that even as trying to survive as a family farm is very difficult, and it's a lot of work and not very economically rewarding. But every year we're trying new things and new systems to follow our passion. And it's so we're mainly a CSA farm. CSA stands for Community Supported Agriculture. That's where families can buy a share of the farm at the beginning of the year, and then come out to the farm and pick up their veggies every week during the summer. We also have a CSA pickup in CU Boulder, just off of Arapahoe Street. And that's been our goal, is to try to get nutrient-dense food into the community and really get back to food as medicine. And really developing a strong relationship with nature during that time too. I think during the 2013 floods that were right around Left-Hand Creek, goes right through the middle of our farm. We saw a lot of devastation along the creek, and really began to think of what can we do as farmers, as humans, to help nature rebuild. And that's when we really started deepening our relationship with nature and looking at how we can kind of rebuild the creek ecosystem. And so all the lessons we learned from vegetable farming, from composting and inoculants and making a nutrient-dense soil, we brought it to that creek ecosystem and replanted cover crops and got that ecosystem really resilient and coming back really quickly. And what we saw is, since we were doing that so early along the creek, like all these bird species were showing up that we hadn't seen before, and kind of realized like that's kind of our role as humans and as farmers, to like try to grow food, but also look at how can we be growing a healthy ecosystem around at the same time. And a big focus is youth education, and Kenneth's going to talk a little bit more about that and some of the relationships with the students and the youth for making this a more of a permanent change.
Okay, hello. So my relationship with Mother Nature, I was born in Mexico City. Half Mexico City because my mom, and half in Acatlan, where the Mixtecos Indians are, because my dad's side. So my relationship with Mother Nature started right away. The air, the birds, the trees, everything. I think Mother Nature gave us everything we need. And through stories and history, I remember my house in Mexico City was kind of at the end of the street, and it was a huge pond. So my daily job after after school was to go to the pond and fill a bucket full of these little frogs and go back home. And my mom is, put it back. That's where they live. Years later, they're gone. What happened? What have we done? It's full of houses. And when I see all this building here in Longmont and Boulder, it's like, oh, this looks so familiar. I don't want to happen this, but it's going on. On my dad's side, it's in the mountains of the Mixtecos Indian. So my grandma, she cooks from scratch every day. If you needed water, you need to go in the donkey with your two ceramic bowls and go in the hole and put it back in the donkey and go back. And time passed and stories pass. So there's the story of Chawita, my nana. Her grandpa used to be a farmer, a campesino, and super small scale. And every day you can see his donkey with all his tools and going very early and come back. Time passed, years passed. And recently I asked Chawita, I go, what happened with your dad? Why he stopped farming? And she told me, you know what he told us? He told us that the land died. And I was like, this happened when we were already farming, and something we're trying to do is to restore the land and bring back to life land that has been neglected. And I just felt like, I don't know, what have we done as a humanity? And I don't want to think that we do it in purpose, because technology comes and future comes. But now we know the damage we have caused in the past. Now we know that things change, and we need to put a break there, I used to be, walking in the parks and put one step, and all these little bugs used to fly, and butterflies. And we were driving in the car, and all the windshields were full of little bugs. They're gone. Where are they? What have we done? And going on, stories like this, that we are so connected with Mother Nature, and we are so thankful for being here. I have a chance to live in this beautiful planet. We need to learn to give back, and we need to pass the baton to the new generations, because they deserve a good planet. I was just talking with a lady, it was a must thing to learn, ride your back and learn how to swim. Now it's gonna be a must thing to do and learn how to restore the land. You're not gonna have a space to plant and eat. The soil is dying. Recently, I was so surprised recently, because before it used to be, we have 60 harvests left. The last time I thought we were in a meeting, and we have 50 harvests left. And this lady was like, 50, that's great. I was like, great, my daughters are 13. In 50 years, they're gonna be 60 something. What is gonna happen? We need to take responsibility of our actions, responsibility of the actions from people of the past, and just hold on as a community and start doing something yesterday. And that's what I try to do with the kids in the farm. Connected to the land is your home. It holds our steps, our house, our mountains, our flowers. It gives us food. It gives us everything. Even it heals ourselves, through food, through beauty, through rivers, through trees. It's just like, guys, we need to wake up, we need to do something. And it's that connection with Mother Nature that we need to learn to appreciate and value. And there's some stories there. This is Christopher. I met him since he was in preschool, because I'm a Spanish teacher. And Christopher went to Spanish, grew up, and we always have a connection. Until one day his mom came to us. He was in high school. This generation of youth, they're really struggling with a lot of situations, different things. So Christopher was welcome into the farm for his last 2 years in high school. And just to see and experience the change by being close to Mother Nature, put your hands on the dirt. That was so magic. And I always tell the kids, you know, guys, seeds are magic because they turn into beautiful trees or flowers or plants, and they give us food. They are really, really magic. You just need to take a time to stop and experience that. And so it was with the story of Christopher. And suddenly Christopher, he decided to join the Marines. And he went in his new adventure in California. And last summer, his mom came, you know, I'm going to go and visit Christopher. And he's asking me for a bag full of dirt from the farm. So we were like, I was picturing like a bag, and you know, in my head, I was looking at Christopher planting a garden. And time passed. Mom took the bag of dirt. And in December, he came and visited for the first time after all this pandemic and everything. And I was waiting to hear the story for the dirt and the garden, and he's like, nope, we're not allowed to have gardens there or nothing. So I was like, what about the bag of soil? And you know, it's hard. Every time I feel like my spirit needs some comfort, I just put my hands in the dirt. And I was like, oh my God. And you know, now he's in charge of a group. And he said every time he sees a friend struggling, he just asks them, take them to his room and let them put their hands in the dirt. I was like, oh my gosh, Christopher, you are making me cry like right now. And that's the power of Mother Nature. It's our home, it's everything to us. And like this, there's a lot of stories. And I want Mark to share a story about what we do at the farm is really concentrate on the health of the soil as a living organism. So we do a nutrient-dense farming. The nutrient-dense farming is you concentrate on the microorganisms who live in the soil. So you have a healthy plant, a healthy vegetable, and a healthy us. So it heals us in different ways, you know, by the sound of the creeks, by looking at the birds. So we need to celebrate her every day. It's like Mother Days, every day, no once a year. And I don't know if you want to share this.
Yeah, and the farm has really helped us connect with a lot of youth in the community and just develop really meaningful relationships. Like it's been obviously a lot of hard work, but at the same time, it's been so fulfilling to be able to impact the community in some fun ways. I always remember early on, we used to grow, one of my favorite things we grow is this Japanese hikuri turnip. It's like a white salad turnip, really sweet, amazing flavor. You get it out of a healthy soil, it's just like crazy sweet. It's like eating an apple almost. And I remember having those at the farmer's market, and there was this biker dude, like pretty rough looking biker guy that was coming like every week and like gripping those hikuri turnips. That was the only thing he was getting. I was kind of like, well, what's the deal with this guy and the turnips? And it turns out like one week he's like, you know, my dad's going through chemotherapy right now, and like this is the only thing I've seen him be able to like keep down in his stomach during chemotherapy, just because it's really high in calcium, a very nutritious, healing food, and we both kind of like felt like empowered by that, and so we'd see that guy coming in the weeks ahead. I'd be grabbing the turnips and having them ready, and it was my favorite sale of the week every week. Just I know it was like making that guy's life a little bit easier to deal with, until one day he came and. He saw him walking up, and I went to grab the turnips, and he looked at me and just shook his head, and he's like, you know, he passed, but I wanted to come and tell you guys thank you for what you do. And so those kind of relationships are what make us like really excited to be farmers, and it's meaningful to kind of to feed the community. But here we are in this time of changing climate, and as vegetable farmers, every time we go out to prep a bed and till the soil to make it so we can plant our seeds or to put a transplant into the ground, we're disrupting that soil ecosystem a little bit. And we got really good at knowing how to go back and give it all the minerals it needed and inoculants and re-inoculate the biology and fungi that keep that ecosystem thriving, so that by the time that tomato is setting fruit, there's been enough time for the ecosystem to recover and just channel all the nutrients and water and nutrition up to that tomato to make it incredibly flavorful. But at the end of the year, like we're doing that every year, it's a lot of labor and intensive process of giving all that love back to the land all the time. And in 2018 was kind of a turning point in the farm where we had like multiple hailstorms going on that year. And one in June when it came through and just nicked all the peppers and tomatoes when they were just getting started, but they're still alive. So we nurtured them, got them weed-free, and put some extra nutrition through the drip lines and got that biology thriving again, the immune system thriving again. And sure enough, they were loading up with peppers and tomatoes. And it was like the middle of August, so like 9 o'clock on a Saturday night, the storm rolled in through Lyons with just like pea-sized hail, but like 60 or 70 mile per hour winds. So it was just coming in like sideways and just shredded all the peppers, all the tomatoes. And it was really devastating to look at. And that's when we realized that we have to find even a different way to farm. Like we have to find ways to storm-proof the farm, because as the last 2 weeks have showed us, it's not going to get any less windy. It's not going to get any less extreme. And so that's when we really went down this journey of trying to figure out how can we build a really resilient farm ecosystem at the same time we're growing our food. And we have a booth in the room out here that we're happy to go into a lot of those details, but a lot of it is like looking for more perennial plants that we can get out into the ground, a lot of windbreaks within the fields. Over the last 3 years, we put in over 7,000 linear feet of berry shrubs and trees that can act as windbreaks even in the middle of the field. So we're in this kind of concept called alley cropping, where you're growing vegetables, but in the sides you have these windbreaks that are pollinator habitat and no-till zones, and are just great for the diversity. But the last 3 years, we've had like droughts every year, so putting these like bare root shrubs and trees hasn't always been super successful. And so now we're developing systems of on-farm composting and using fungi and mycelium and wood chips. So as soon as we're planting those out, we're actually putting like a mulch layer at the bottom of them with compost and mycelium and wood chips to be able to buffer and kind of keep that water retention in there. So we've slowly been developing this over time, and it's on the side of being vegetable farmers. Like we've relied on donations and grants and really public support and community volunteer days to go out and plant all that stuff and do all that mulching, which is labor intensive. But little by little, we're seeing some progress, even in some extremely challenging climate situations. So that's kind of our goal, is to try to demonstrate what is possible, both on our home farm, and we manage about 170 acres of Boulder County open space ag land where a lot of this work is going on. It's all community-owned land, and if we want to see regenerative agriculture instead of just monoculture corn and sugar beets that are getting sprayed with Roundup all the time, we really have to try to shift the economics and make it a community effort through donations, through volunteer days, to really push that forward. And people always say, like, we got to save the earth when it's Earth Day, but I'm pretty convinced, like, the earth doesn't need saving. The earth is going to save itself. The question right now is, like, are humans going to be part of it or not be part of it? Like, and to me, more importantly, like, humans have a pretty short history, but there's a ton of species that are going extinct all the time that have a much longer history, that it's not justice for them because of our actions, that their years and years of struggle and evolution has been altered and disappeared. I would say, like, the giraffe has a long neck through just generations and generations of hunger, and the lion is strong because of generations and generations of defeat. They've grown to be that. And humans are at this awesome opportunity right now where we have the tools, and the tools are all nature-based. Like, as farmers, we observe nature, look at how the natural nutrient cycles happen in nature, how things decompose and relive, and that's what we're trying to mimic on our farm. It's a lot of biomimicry. And so right now, nature has all the tools. We have the ability to, as humans, to shift course and grow really healthy ecosystems. And through generations and generations of extractive mentalities and destruction, we're at a place right now where we can flip it and become extremely productive and extremely partners with the earth and rehabilitating this earth and sequestering carbon and being able to bring back biodiversity. And that's what we're really trying to focus on the farm, and we can't do it by ourselves. It's a community effort, and Kid and I both believe it's the youth generations that are really going to shift the focus, and that's where we spend a lot of our time. Anything else, Kenneth, that you'd like to say?
I want to talk to your child a long time ago, and just remember how the gardens, the parks, the mountains, how we used to do mud cakes and play and just put one step and full of butterflies. So what do we want for our kids? We would like to experience the same. Now they get so excited to see one butterfly. What? There were many, many butterflies. Where are they? So it's just an invitation to pass the baton to the new generation because they deserve a better future. We need to teach them how to restore the land, but I think we all can do this together. Usually I talk to my audiences like 13 and younger, but guys, we can do this. And the kids are the future. I know, because they are growing in a different world, like listening to different situations. So I'm hopeful, but we need to start taking action yesterday. So I want to close this because I have something to read for you. So it is, once upon a time, there was a simple understanding that to sing at dawn and to sing at dusk was to heal the world through joy. The birds still remember what we have forgotten, that the world is meant to be celebrated. So let's celebrate it together by our actions every day.
Thank you, that was beautiful. Good morning. Our Share Our Plate recipient for the month of April has been EcoCycle, and I have another story from them to share, but I wanted to pass along a little UUCB story that is related. As many of you remember, earlier this month on April 3rd, Rosie Briggs was here from EcoCycle, and she was so moved by hearing about the history of UUCB, and she realized that EcoCycle kind of paralleled, their growth and UUCB's growth kind of were in parallel and certainly had similar values. So she spoke to that. Recently, Fred contacted us to follow up to give a little more background, actually, on the UUCB EcoCycle connection. So I wanted to share Fred's recollections that back in the late 1960s, UUCB member Ann Swift was apparently a real spark plug in our church, dedicated to many environmental causes. And under her guidance and boundless energy, it was UUCB's parking lot that served as the sort yard for the initial collections of recyclable materials from Boulder residents. And this was before the west lot was paved. And that's where they had rows of barrels where volunteers would sort paper, plastic, metal, and glass by hand. Fred said someone was hauling it away on a regular basis. The converted school buses that some of us might remember that did the early curbside pickup of recyclables from Boulder homes came later when EcoCycle had their sort yard at the city yards between Valmont and East Pearl. For several years, our UUCB ninth grade trippers and parents would sign up for one Saturday in the fall, and it was the largest single source of funding for the trip until EcoCycle had to end the practice due to safety liability concerns. UUCB's funding commitment was then replaced by the cake auction. So unknown to Rosie and me, UUCB and EcoCycle have been connected actually for decades, and in a very real way, EcoCycle originated in our parking lot. So now for EcoCycle's story for today, and this very much connects to Ken and Mark's message. According to the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change, if we're to avoid the worst impacts of climate change, we must keep global temperatures from rising more than 2 degrees Celsius above the pre-industrial temperatures. To achieve this, we must decrease greenhouse emissions and also actively remove carbon from the atmosphere. With carbon farming, we can draw down carbon dioxide in the atmosphere and store it safely and beneficially in our soils. Through regenerative agriculture practices such as no-tilling, applying compost, and growing cover crops, we can restore soil's natural ability to store carbon. Beginning in 2019, EcoCycle spearheaded the Community Carbon Farming Project, a citizen science application of this concept. More than 300 county residents, including yours truly, applied an organic soil amendment to their yards. Compost, biochar inoculated with microbe brew, mycorrhizal powder, foliar spray, or biodynamic prep. And over 3 years, we measured how much carbon the soil sequestered from the atmosphere. Tim, one of our carbon farmers and soil sample volunteers, was able to cut his summer watering time in half as a result of applying his compost amendment, and he couldn't wait to wrap up the data collection phase so he could spread it on all of his yard, his land. EcoCycle has partnered with Olin Farms to set up a small aerated static pile compost system, a very simple version of the system proposed for a county-wide compost facility, to make high-quality compost using farm waste that will be used in a portion of the Project 95 land as well as at Olin Farm. This and our other on-farm compost projects start to create the underpinnings of a community circular compost system, a distributed network of smaller composting operations that easily fit into a community and meet its needs. This year, we, EcoCycle, are continuing this climate healing work by taking on another community-based project that builds upon our community carbon farming work. EcoCycle is excited to work with the City of Boulder and other local partners to create the Cool Boulder campaign. This initiative will create cool corridors throughout our community and will aid in the expansion of local urban forests, pollinator pathways, and carbon-rich landscapes, all critical to community well-being and climate action. We can each play an important role in this campaign to counter the effects of global climate change locally. We're so excited to be able to do this kind of hands-on resilience work, and we love you to join us. So you can go to EcoCycle's website to learn more, or you can stop by our Climate Action Ministry table today, and we have little flyers that you can take home that have more information about that. So thank you for your generous donations to EcoCycle. They've been such an incredibly important organization for this community. So I invite the ushers to pass the baskets, and I guess you can scan the QR code if you're online, or send a check to the church. Again, thank you for your generosity.
May our gifts be used to enact justice, bringing peace and love to the Boulder community. One final announcement. In addition to all the other things going on today, this is the monthly edition of Your Board is Listening at 12:30. So either online on Zoom or in the Emerson room, if you're interested in talking with one of your Board of Trustee members about doings at the church, that's where you can get that information. And I neglected to share one of the blessings and concerns for today. This has been a day to think about health and hope, and I can't think of any better announcement to make than that Gary and Babs Hurley have been blessed with the birth of a grandson in San Jose named Sylvan Ori Hurley. We close our service with this Hawaiian prayer. May the earth continue to live. May the heavens above continue to live. May the rains continue to dampen the land. May the forests continue to grow. Then the flowers shall bloom in abundance, and we the people shall live again. Will you rise in body and spirit as we close with the song, Turn the World Around?
We come from the fire, living in the fire. Go back to the fire, turn the world around. We come from the water, living in the water. Go back to the water, turn the world around. We come from the mountain, living on the mountain. Go back to the mountain, turn the world around. Oh, so is alive. Ah, so is alive. Oh, so is alive. Ah, so is alive. Do you know who I am? Do I know who you are? See we one another clearly. Do we know who we are? Do you know who I am? See we one another clearly. Do we know who we are? Do you know who I am? Clearly. See we one another clearly. Do we know who we are? Oh, so is alive about the war. So is alive. Oh, so is alive about the war. So is alive. Water make the river, river wash the mountain. Fire make the sunlight turn the world around. Heart is of the river, body is the mountain, spirit is the sunlight, turn the world around. We are of the spirit, truly of the spirit, only can the spirit turn the world around. Oh, so is alive about the war. So is alive. Oh, so is alive about the war. So is alive. Oh, so is alive about the war. So is alive. One more time. Oh, so is alive about the war. So is alive. Yes, yes.